let's start out with this. Cowboys' problems thus far, in which is most fixable. Then we can dive into the injuries because we got some more updates about that. Hopefully we'll get even more from Stephen Jones coming up at noon. But I want to get the feedback from the Franklin Injury Attorney text line or the Twitch or the YouTube. What do you think are the Cowboys' biggest issues? And then maybe we can figure out which ones, if any, you think are fixable along the way.
One of the ones that I think is killer right now is that your left tackle is playing like a rookie.
Yeah.
And that is, I think it's fixable, but probably not truly until next year because he's going to run up against really good defensive ends and he's going to be in his own head for a little while. But he's got some things that he desperately needs to get right so that they can continue drives. Every time you felt like you had something good going, you felt like he was going to either give up a sack, give up a pressure, or have a false start or a hold that screwed the team over in the last game.
I know it's only been 4 games, but based off of that, can I just ask a question? Through 4 games, I'm not saying anything about the rest of his career or anything like that. Do you think Tyler Guyton has been disappointing so far?
Yes. Through 4 games, he has been disappointing. He's gotten better at some things and looked very flawed at other things. Then the next one, that affects the running game.
Yeah.
So the next one's the running game. I don't know if that can be fixed because there doesn't seem to be a true commitment to it by the ownership, by the coaches, by the players to really fix that. So I don't know if that can be fixed this year. I think you're going to settle for whatever Rico Dowdle gives you. And then, like, for whatever reason, they don't want to go with Dalvin Cook. And then Dalvin Cook's starting to get frustrated about not playing, so there's that going on. And then edge. Right now you have Carl Lawson's getting promoted to defensive end. And you have Marshawn Nealon, Micah being hurt, and DeMarcus Lawrence. Those three right there are my biggest problems for the Cowboys right now. And 2 of them I don't think you can fix at the moment.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah.
It's a good start. Mike, do you agree with those problems? Is there anything else you want to add on? And then I'll throw in potentially problems as well.
I think everything in a way is playing out not in the most negative way. They are 2-2. The division is
this division sucks.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Washington.
Yeah. Boy, that coach you guys hated, he ain't that bad, is he?
Not us.
Thunder Dan Quinn. How many Cowboy fans were like, oh, thank God we got rid of him, and Mike Zimmer's the solution to all of our problems.
You're absolutely right about that.
I think Dan Quinn took over the worst defense in NFL history and turned it into something good.
I'm not here to argue with you at all.
I think Guyton will get better. The confidence I have there is the Cowboys develop offensive linemen. Can I ask this question off of Guyton? And are you guys happy with BB?
I think so. I thought he probably played his best game of the year in this last one.
Do you think he's playing better than Guyton?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Gave up, I think it was 19 pass snaps, gave up 0 pressure, something along those lines this week, which was the first time he hadn't given up a pressure.
Okay.
And he's looking better in the running game. He's growing. I think you're going to have a center for a long future now, and he looks good right now.
I don't know what they're going to do at defensive end. Like, I don't. Can you? The offense doesn't look like it can carry the team, and now for the next 2 to 6 weeks, and I don't know, like
perhaps even longer.
Right.
So if you missed it, Steven was on, gave a couple updates with G-Bag on Friday. We will talk with him again at noon, but Micah was described as week to week, and then the news came out this weekend that DeMarcus Lawrence looks like he won't need surgery. However, he might still be out 4 to 8 weeks with the Liz Frank injury, which, Corey, correct me if I'm wrong, that was literally the injury that you said, I just hope it's not this.
Yeah, that was his rookie year. That's what happened to him, and there's been concerns about that over his career. And then I told you on Friday, I was like, man, I just hope it's not that. And here we are. Damn it.
I might have talked to somewhat of a medical expert about that situation.
Oh.
He has no clue. I mean, he knows who DeMarcus Lawrence is and everything, but he's like, yeah, he might not play the rest of this season.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen too many players have that injury early in their career, and they're not the same player you expect them to be. DeMarcus Lawrence has had a pretty good career. Pretty good.
Yeah.
But I've seen other players have it happen late in their career, and they're just Hakeem Nicks is the first one I always go to. Never looked the same. For his position, obviously, you got to be able to do a lot of things with your speed. But for DeMarcus Lawrence, it's going to be a struggle to get back if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to lose a whole bunch of games now. I don't know that. The good news is it looks like 9 or 10 wins is going to be enough for this division.
I could see that.
But at the same time, they have major issues that I don't know if they can overcome to be an above average team this year.
So the fact that y'all listed stuff and I thought, oh, we can add some more to that. That's probably not what you want, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of hoping we'd all be like, well, these are our 3 problems and let's fix them. The penalties. Man, oh man. And this continues to be a thing year after year after year. Cowboys were second in penalties committed and accepted going into that Giants game. Then they had 11 penalties in the first 3 quarters. So
we're first now?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's not ideal. I mean, of all the categories.
Good to be number 1 at something.
Yeah, I don't know if that is the one I would pick. And then missed tackles. And so when you think about, I don't know, maybe this is too much of a simplification. When you think about an undisciplined team, don't you think, hey, our team's not good at not committing penalties or missing tackles? Don't you think like, well, that doesn't sound like a very fundamentally sound team right there? And before anybody is like, it's only been 4 games, I'm comparing this to every other team in the league that has also played that sample size.
If you're Mike McCarthy, do you walk in and go, guys, we're number 1 in penalties right now, but that doesn't mean we're going to be number 1 all season, all right? So we got to really work hard to keep it up.
No, you don't want to be number 1.
It could change in an instant, guys. So which way do you want it to go?
Optimistic Mike is back.
Thank God.
Okay, are you ready for Optimistic
Yes.
Mike?
Hit me.
The missed tackle situation, not tackling. Does it help you guys out at all? I don't know if you watch Sunday Night Football, but the Buffalo Bills could not tackle the Baltimore Ravens.
It's true.
As I think Derrick Henry ran for 1,000 yards last night.
And it's first scary.
Does it help at all that stat going one of the teams you played was Baltimore with Henry and Lamar Jackson? I'm just trying to be optimistic.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I get there's tackles against the Giants where you're like, I think we should have made that tackle. And luckily, the Giants are the Giants. They can't score touchdowns. So even though they scored 5 times, they couldn't score a touchdown, so you won the game. So I look at it and go, yeah, I don't think they're a very good tackling team and probably not going to get better with DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons out. But one of the games was against maybe the toughest team to tackle in the run game.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair point.
I'm just trying to be optimistic.
That's fair.
The missed tackles part, I think the league is not tackling well right now.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly how to explain it other than, again, no preseason. These guys aren't ready and prepared to be
They've
physical
never practiced.
right now.
I mean, honestly, they don't practice tackling until the first game of the season.
Yeah, to be a physical team, you have to practice tackling. That is something like, otherwise you stand there and you like hesitate before you level somebody.
If there were any bouncy balls, though, if a team ever brought out a big bouncy ball, they'd tackle the crap out of that thing. I've seen them wrap up those bouncy balls in Oxnard like there's no tomorrow.
So trying to figure out how they ramp up that in practice when they don't do as much of that is curious to me, because I know that Zimmer wants to say, all right, let's get a practice out here and I'm going to run their asses into the ground. And they're going to be afraid of not tackling. But I don't know how you do that with the limitations they have now. You should have set that precedent in training camp. You should have set it in the preseason, and then you walk into the season like this. They're trying to build from like the first game is preseason, and they're trying to build from there.
Now, on the run defense front, you saw 3 games of just what felt like the worst run defense that has ever existed. I don't think that is statistically backed up, but it felt like it. And then against the Giants, you allow the 6th lowest yards per carry in the history of the franchise. Are you encouraged by that? And you're like, let's see it in at least 2 more games? Or are you thinking it's the Giants?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like, it's a both. You have to say damn fine job doing what you did against any NFL team, no matter who it is.
That's fair.
You have to say that. Now you got to go back and look at the film and say, what did we do right? Why were we good at it? Was it because Mozzie was better? Mozzie was better.
Oh,
was
for
it
sure.
because he just had a great mismatch across the line, or because he actually did the crap that we've been asking him to do for the last 3 weeks, for the last year and a half now? Because if that's the case and he's actually doing it, then you ride him this entire time and say, you know what? You just made an A, son. Now you know that you can make an A. I'm not letting you make another B because you've proven you can do it again. So that's the first part, is you acknowledge it, figure out what you did right, and then also acknowledge that, yeah, that was that opponent. Whenever you have another opponent like that, you got to step it up another level. Whenever you have the Baltimore Ravens, whenever you have another team that can run like that, you step it up to the next place, because we're going to need even more out of you than what we saw against the Giants.
When we talk to Stephen Jones, I mean, it doesn't have to be Hassan Reddick. It can be whoever the hell you want. Do you anticipate the Cowboys looking for outside help, or if they do, will it be the same kind of outside help as Carl Lawson, etc.?
Yes, that's
okay.
If they're looking outside, it's going to be. I mean, it's a scrap heap right now. Anyway, like that's what you're just hoping you can find a guy. But Mike, we've been talking about trying to trade for a running back all season. You might have other positions that are more important.
I guess this is my question back to you guys. Do you believe in this team this season?
Nope.
And if you answer it that way, I don't think I want to give up any of my future assets, draft
Jerry
picks.
does. Jerry told Sean and RJ and Bobby and Peyton last week, I believe in the personnel. I believe in this. He believed in everything. He said it. So if he does, then he's giving up those assets for it, even if we don't believe in it.
That's an interesting point. That is a really interesting point. I don't, because I thought about specifically Hassan Reddick, just because he's like the big name out there and he's a double-digit sack machine.
That you have to pay.
That's true. That the Cowboys have plenty of salary cap space. They have draft assets if they wanted to figure it out. But I'm sitting here thinking, no, I don't view Hassan Reddick as like, look out, now here we come. I'm like, okay, well, now we can probably weather the storm better, but I still don't think this looks like a great football team.
I was getting to talk to Chris Young during the road trip, and general manager of the Rangers, if you don't know, if you're kind of listening here for just football, and I'm not going to say most of what we talked about, but listening to him talk, and I get, he just was the general manager of a team that went under 500. He's going to do everything possible to get the Rangers back to above 500 and into the playoffs. He has a budget to work with. I know there's no salary cap, but there's a cap. Each team has a cap. But I listened to him, and I'm not friends at all with Jerry Jones. Don't ever want to be friends with Jerry Jones. But you listen to Jerry speak publicly, and somewhat not to us, but we hear what he might say to people he knows better.
Sure.
I don't think he's really going to work very hard to make this thing better. He doesn't work hard during spring break because it's spring break, and that's when you should probably be working your hardest. Right now, Chris Young needs to be working his hardest from today until, let's just say, January 1st, maybe even up to February 15th, to try to make the team better. That's your off season. Yes, winning the off season guarantees you nothing, but winning the off season gives you a better opportunity to win in the season. Jerry quits the offseason. So if he totally quits the offseason, why is he going to work hard during the season?
I don't see it either. I'm with you on that.